Coach, your AD, David Benedict, said you're undaunted by this challenge. I'm curious what the challenge is to you in your words, and do you think conference affiliation is a necessity for survival? There is Notre Dame, there is BYU. Those seem to be the exceptions to the rule, and by all accounts, UConn was right there with the ACC at a couple different junctures, and there's sure to be even more reshuffling. What are your thoughts on UConn as it relates to being a conference school?
I don't really care right now. I just care about winning games. You know what I mean? Like, I think a conference affiliation is great because it gives you a little more identity. Obviously, the television revenues gives you a chance to compete for a league championship. You know who your opponents are going to be year in and year out. So you get a little familiar with them, but they get a little familiar with you. You belong to something. But at the same time, I like the fact that we can go out and we can schedule the teams we want to play. And we have a good schedule coming up next year. And we have a TV contract that allows us to lock in our game times. So we're not sitting there as a coach on a Monday finding out what time we play on a Saturday. It helps you plan a little bit. It helps our players plan. Players, I think, and coaches are creatures of habit and routine during the season. And we get into routine, and it helps us get prepared for kickoff, so you kind of know those things. But what I like is the fact that we can go play who we want to play, where we want to play them, when we want to play them. We're going to play Michigan, Syracuse, Boston College, North Carolina State, teams like that next year. If we were in a conference, we wouldn't be able to do that. And it depends on what conference you're in as to who you're playing, obviously. But I think David Benedict he'll make the right decisions for the program, for the university going forward. So I'm leaving it to him. And I'm gonna just try to win games, and win games, all that will take care of itself. If we don't win games, someone else will have to worry about it.
You could be in the SEC. It wouldn't matter. Yeah. Coach, you said you want to attack the transfer portal. That's something that's been like a hot thing. Mel Tucker did a great job with that this year at Michigan State. How do you do that? And then what's the draw of bringing in kids like that? And then, where's the point of diminishing return where, hey, if we have too many kids that aren't born and bred UConn guys, does that ruin the pot?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because you're hitting it right on the head. It's kind of like the NFL, Chris. So most NFL teams, they build through the draft, they enhance through free agency. You build through recruiting, you enhance through the transfer portal or JCs. You're trying to create an environment, everyone uses the word culture. So a culture where everyone's kind of on the same page, going the same direction, speaking the same language. And if all of a sudden you start bringing in some mercenaries or renegades that you don't really know a lot about because you didn't recruit them out of high school, you haven't developed those relationships, you're taking a little bit of chance. But I also think the first year of your program, there's going to be disruption anyway. So you can bring some guys in.
Right.
And, everyone knows there's change. Yeah. So it's not a shock to anybody. You always got to upgrade your talent base because you can't win without players. It doesn't matter how good a coach you are. If you don't have players, it's not about formations and plays. It's about players, and football is. And I really believe that. But I think that what you can do is you can upgrade your talent real quick. Now, the other thing, the pitfall is you bring a guy in as a transfer out of the portal, and he expects to play and start and contribute. And if it's not working out exactly how he likes it, then all of a sudden he just jets and goes somewhere else, and you're left high and dry. And I don't want that to happen. I think the junior college players right now are a little bit overlooked, because everyone's talking about the portal. There's some damn good junior college players out there as well. At UCLA, we couldn't take junior college players. I think I only took one. His name was Josh Kelly. He's playing for the Chargers right now. But he was a special case and a special kid, but they didn't really let us do that there. Here we have that opportunity. So I'm looking everywhere. Before I came in here, as I told you, I was with the athletic director and a donor. Before that, I spent the whole morning looking at transfer portal and junior college kids. I've looked through all our recruits and made contact there. But we're going to look everywhere for players. But they got to be, man, Chris, you know it, man, the chemistry in the locker room is critical, right? It's critical. Yeah. So they got to fit. They can't come in here and detract from what we're trying to be. They got to add value.
So what's the one thing you want to know about a kid that's planted, so to speak, that comes in? Like if you could ask them one question to kind of ascertain their makeup, you've seen the tape, what's that question you want to get to the heart of it with?
Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you transferring? And that's got to be a multifaceted answer.
Right.
What I want to hear is I want the opportunity to play. I want the opportunity to win a championship. I want the opportunity to enhance a team. I want the opportunity to, assimilate into your culture, have an effect on these players. I want to be coached hard.
Yeah.
Those are kind of like, you can ask them one question, but I want multiple answers.
And why'd you leave? What went wrong too? Because
why you transferring?
Yeah, exactly.
And I can tell you this, I'd be really hesitant to take someone that had already transferred.
Yeah.
And you're seeing some of that guys transfer and then it doesn't work out and they want to transfer again. And I'd be really hesitant because, that means it didn't work out at team one. It's not working out at team two. That to me, that's a pretty big risk right there.
Yep. And also, no question about it. And JUCO kids you mentioned, which was really a great point. And Kyle Long, I know the JUCO kid, the Saddleback College out there in Mission Viejo. So recruiting, you mentioned it. Do you think recruiting is going to be easier at UConn in a way than UCLA, like geographically? Because are you guys going to be like going all the way out west to grab kids? I feel like if you're at UCLA, you got to recruit the west half of the country. Like those are longer plane rides, they're longer car rides, they're longer bus trips, however you get there. At UConn, are you kind of starting small or are you going to just hit everywhere? I mean, you just mentioned JUCOs and community college kids.
No, we're gonna work the area here, the Northeast, the Eastern Seaboard. I think we can go into Georgia and be effective. I'm going to tell you this, if there's a really good football player that, can make it here as a student and socially, and he's in, Southern California, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he wants to be here. And I'm never going to concede anybody. I mean, I know there's some kids that, it'd be stretches for them to come here, but at least I'm going to make contact with them and try to get them. But I think we got to hit Virginia.
Whoa.
Oh, absolutely.
Buddy, he's coming down. He's coming down to Virginia.
Oh, we're coming. I'm coming after you.
All right, he's coming after us.
Chris, trying to schedule Virginia here in a couple of years. Actually, a game with them, and
that'd be awesome.
I think we've been to the
they
wrench.
Might be good. They might be good by then. So
we've been to the wrench. I think twice in the last decade. Came back with L's. So that might not be so good.
You're
for
right.
us.
You're right. We played UConn at home in 2007, and that was a barn burner. So they're usually pretty entertaining games. You're 60, you talked about being older and that sort of thing, but you got youthful energy. But you probably don't want to just straight kiss kids' asses. That's the way recruiting is kind of going now. I feel like as an outsider, I'm just speaking for myself. I feel like you got to really beg kids now and jump through hoops and do all the extra. How do you walk that line of being I'm an old school football guy, but now I got to jump into the recruiting mess, and there's coaches just doing anything they can to convince a kid that coming to my school is the right thing?
I got to have a great staff of recruiters that can connect maybe through Madden and some of those other ways.
TikTok.
TikTok. You won't probably
Mora's getting on TikTok.
TikTok videos out here, but I think one of the other strengths I have, I don't have many, but between clock management and then my ability to relate to kids, or younger people, I've always had that.
Yeah.
And really relate to diverse people. I mean, I don't know, man. I grew up doing this, and it's easy for me to communicate with really anybody, and engage. And I still, as you know, I hate it. You just keep saying freaking 60. So let's just stop that. I've only been 60 for 4 days. So.
Well, you put it in an article. It was in my research here, in my notes, Coach.
I know
which was a shock to me because he ran up the mountain like he was 17.
I got to be careful, but I think the most important thing, Chris, is that the players you're recruiting, they know that you're going to help them be better players, better men. Their parents believe that you can help turn their kids into the young man they always thought that they'd be, that you can help them be good football players, get their degree, and help them get to the league. They all want to get to the league. And I can tell you this, I've coached at least 30 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Maybe it's 28. I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of great players. And right now, 30 of the kids that I coached and recruited at UCLA are playing in the league. Mm-hmm. So players want to hear that. And then they need to know that you care about them and that they can trust you. And at this point in my life, I'm not going to say how old I am again, there's no ego involved in terms of like, what can I get?
Right.
It's more like, what can I give? Like my ego is going to be massaged by the success that the coaches and the players that I'm working with have, because I'm, you know what, I'm good. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, man, I don't need anybody to tell me how well I'm doing, or I don't need that. Yeah. You know, I don't need to go anywhere else. I don't need to be hunting for another job. I just want to see the players have success, and I'm going to have a young staff. And I want to see those guys have opportunities to learn and move on. And I think they'll feel that from me. You know, I think when you're genuine and they can trust you, you got a chance, even if you're in your 60s.